This is the moment we realized we were in trouble. The engine died in the middle of the forest, and then we heard footsteps coming towards the car. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. Sarah was staring at me, her face pale in the moonlight. We weren't alone on that road. 2 days earlier, we were planning what was supposed to be a simple road trip through the backcountry of rural Montana. I'm Jake, and with my friend Sarah. We are both adventure junkies, always looking for places off the beaten path. We'd been driving through small towns for hours, looking for a shortcut to Glacier National Park. Our GPS had lost signal about 30 miles back, and we were relying on an old paper map we'd bought at a gas station. That's when we saw it on the map. County Road 47. A thin line cutting straight through the mountains. It would save us at least 3 hours. Perfect, right? We pulled into a tiny town called Ashford to grab some food before heading up the mountain. Population, maybe 200 people. 1 diner, 1 gas station, and a lot of suspicious looks. The woman behind the counter at the diner was probably in her 70s. She had this weather-beaten face and eyes that looked right through you. When I asked her about County Road 47, she stopped wiping the counter. You don't want to go up there. Sarah and I exchanged glances. Why not? I asked. People go missing on that road, she said flatly. Every few years, someone tries it. They either turn back, or they don't come back at all. I laughed it off. Small town superstition, right? But then she leaned in closer. There's a reason no one maintains it anymore. There's a reason it's not on any modern map. She pointed to a faded newspaper clipping on the wall. I could barely make out the headline. Search called off for missing couple, County Road 47. Should we have listened? Of course, we didn't listen. Everyone told us not to take this road. We laughed. By the end of the night, we were begging to escape it. We convinced ourselves it was just local legend. Old stories to keep tourists away. We'd driven dangerous roads before. This would be no different. The entrance to County Road 47 was barely visible. Overgrown with weeds, the pavement cracked and crumbling. There was a rusted metal gate hanging off its hinges with a sign that read, "Road closed, no services." Sarah hesitated. Maybe we should. We'll be fine, I said. It's just a shortcut. I drove around the gate. The moment we crossed onto that road, something felt wrong. The temperature dropped. The air got heavier. Even the sound of the engine seemed muffled, like the forest was swallowing it. The trees on either side were dense, twisted, leaning over the road like they were trying to block out the sky.
No birds.
No animals. Just silence. And then my phone completely died. Not low battery. Just dead. Sarah's too. That's weird, she whispered. Yeah, that was weird. We'd been driving for maybe 20 minutes when we saw the first car. It was on the side of the road, covered in moss and rust. An old sedan from the 90s. The windows were shattered, and the doors were wide open, like someone had left in a hurry. Should we check it out? Sarah asked. No, I said. My gut told me to keep moving. But then we saw another one. And another. 4 abandoned cars in total, all in different stages of decay. Jake, what happened here? I didn't have an answer. The road got narrower. Potholes everywhere. At one point, we had to swerve around a massive tree that had fallen across half the lane. The steering wheel jerked in my hands. And then I saw something in the rearview mirror. A figure, standing in the middle of the road behind us. I slammed on the brakes. Sarah screamed. What the hell was that? I turned around. Nothing. The road was empty. Did you see that? I asked. I saw something, she whispered. We sat there for a full minute, hearts pounding, staring at the empty road behind us. Then I hit the gas. We had to get out of there. That's when everything went wrong. The engine started sputtering. The check engine light flickered on. And then, without warning, the car just died. Right there in the middle of the road. I turned the key. Nothing. Try it again. Nothing. Are you kidding me? I yelled. Sarah was breathing fast, her eyes darting to the trees. We need to call someone. Our phones are dead, remember? Then we walk. Walk where? We are in the middle of nowhere. That's when we heard it. Footsteps. On gravel. Slow. Deliberate. We both froze. The footsteps got closer. Crunching. Steady. Coming from somewhere behind the car. I looked at Sarah. Her face was white. Lock the doors, I whispered. The footsteps stopped. Right outside Sarah's window. We didn't move. We didn't breathe. And then, a hand pressed against the glass. Pale. Dirty. The fingers were too long, the nails cracked and black. Sarah let out a choked sob. The hand slowly dragged down the window, leaving a smear of something dark. Then it was gone. Start the car, Sarah begged. Please, just start the car. I turned the key one more time. The engine coughed, sputtered, and roared to life. I didn't wait. I floored it. We flew down that road, hitting every pothole, every rock, not caring. The car rattled like it was going to fall apart, but I didn't stop. Sarah was crying. I was gripping the wheel so hard my knuckles were white. And then, finally, we saw it. A paved road. A real road. I yanked the wheel and we burst out of the forest onto Highway 2. Normal traffic. Normal people. Sunlight. We pulled over onto the shoulder and just sat there, shaking. For a long time, neither of us said anything. Finally, Sarah spoke. What was that? I didn't know. I still don't. We never reported it. Who would believe us? But I think about it all the time. That road. Those cars. That hand on the window. Some roads aren't closed because they're dangerous. They're closed because something lives there. Something that doesn't want you to leave. We took the road everyone warned us about. And we barely made it out. I don't ignore warnings anymore. And I never, ever take shortcuts through the mountains. Some places are abandoned for a reason. If you want to hear more stories like this, places you should never go, roads you should never take, stay with me. Because this wasn't the only time we ignored a warning. And next time, we weren't so lucky.